No, I'm not going to answer such a question. I just want to establish the difference between your level and my level. Perhaps I'm a nobody, so you have to take that into account. But you clearly said, I'm trying to figure out what she likes, then I want to give her what she likes. So when you begin, you're already having the mindset, you're insecure. I have to figure her out. Like it's like a boxing match. I have to figure out jab, jab, hook, jab, right? So the combination, so I can find my way in and score points. Right? Yeah. So this is you're already going at it like it's a battle. You're already intimidated. If you're looking to give her pleasure, so you're focused on giving her pleasure, which is by its very nature trying to prove something, and also puts you in competition with the other pleasure givers. Isn't that not it? So that's the mindset you've adopted when you now embark with a woman. Let's be honest. If you're doing this, you're already tense. You may now, of course, think you're the greatest lover and your routine / technique is impeccable, impenetrable, fine. But the mindset still remains this way. Great. So if it works for you, it works for you. I don't do that shit. Ever. When I was an idiot, I used to do that shit. Today, it wouldn't even dawn on me. I'm trying to find what she likes so I can give her what she likes. And of course, then you have the opposite morons who will be like, I don't care, I just go there and take what I want and just like my own pleasure and then go, right? This like barbarian brute moron. No, I'm not saying that. I don't have an interest in such a shallow game. Because when you're doing this, let's be honest, okay? Because I'm not going to give you an answer. I'm being straight up. But I'm gonna. It's my criticism, my critique. It's like an article review. It's my review of that approach. When you're doing this, if you're really honest, you go it's not like so deep, like a couple layers deep. What are you? You are a dildo. You are there to give her pleasure. So what's the difference between you and a dildo? Besides that you're a biological, warm-bodied kind of dildo. So you have just reduced yourself to the status of a dildo, which means you are comparable to other dildos. That may be a longer dildo, that may be a faster vibrating dildo, that may be a dildo that vibrates with like on a sinus of shift of tempos. What the fuck? I don't know what dildos do, but I'm pretty sure there's a sophisticated dildos. And that's what you're doing. You're there to please her. Now I know that some of you that listen to this, you don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. You're on the wrong channel. Get the fuck off of this. This is not for you, man. Go over there, play with your little friends. This is real shit. Just get the fuck off my channel, man. Please do us a favor. Just take some time off. So do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's a form of mindset that comes from a certain understanding of what sexuality is, what your sexuality is, what her sexuality is. But I've highlighted what your mindset is really about. I want to perform so I can prove myself. So if you didn't have to prove yourself, what would you do? How would you behave? How would you touch her? What are you actually doing? So when you have a so-called technique, or this is a move I made, why is it giving her pleasure? What is pleasure? What is quote-unquote arousing? Like this whole mechanism of what sexuality is and the pleasure of sexuality, what's really going on? When she supposedly has an orgasm, what really happened? Is it an orgasm? What is an orgasm? What does that really signify? Because in your brain, you've decided that an orgasm means I've succeeded. Yeah, but who taught you that in the first place? Well, that's what everyone says. Yeah, but who the fuck says that they know what they're talking about? Again, sometimes I'm a philosopher, as you can obviously see. I'm a philosopher with a cock. What I'm trying to say is like, well, take a step back and ask yourself, if men were so competent with women, would women today be behaving the way they are? Would women detest men the way they do? Would they have such contempt towards men if men were so competent in the bedroom? Yet go into any hockey room. I played hockey, right? Go into any gym Every fucking dude is the greatest lover that's ever existed. So something's wrong, something's fishy. If every man is, there's nobody that eats pussy like me, man. Right here we got a super pussy eater, you can't see him. Doesn't that call you Marco? Yeah, Marco's right there. Marco from Bulgar. Bulgar Marco. Oh. So, right? Okay, so I don't have a problem with that. But something smells fishy. There's a dirty cunt somewhere in the room. I'm not sure. Right? I don't think of myself this way. It's a form of game, it's a level, it's a mental frame. I do not play this. I've changed leagues. Because this is, I will not subject myself to dildo status. So like I said just before, if you are confident in yourself, because you have an actual sense of what manhood is, and manhood is not defined by her validating you. Manhood is not defined by the number of orgasms you give her. Manhood is something else, which we've discussed in so many videos before. You should go back and check them out. And we said manhood is power. What is power is another question. So then, am I nervous? Listen to this word, am I a performer? So in this modern day and age, a performer is like, this is a great artist, he's a performer. Now I ain't got nothing against an artist, but this is a clown, this is a performer. People use that person to entertain themselves so that they can forget about their days, their heartaches, their problems. You are an entertainer, you're a clown. People use you to forget about reality. This is how insignificant you are. Now that has an important role in today's society because society is insane and everybody needs to disconnect. Fact. But think about this. This is an actor. What does this actor spend his life doing? Pretending to be somebody else. Ain't that weird? So your whole life, you master the art of being somebody else. Now, I'm not going to say that there's not an art form to it. I am, but nevertheless, stop for a second. Like, you're a grown fucking adult, and you pretend to be somebody else. Ain't that weird? You don't even know who you are, and here you are trying to be somebody you're not. How are you going to know who that person is if you don't even know who you are? Let's not get into that. So you are now, as a man, entering in a relationship with a woman in the so-called bedroom, a performer. You are literally performing an act. Performing, I am that man, and now I'm going to show you what I can do to please you, to show you how competent I am, so that then, listen carefully, this is the most important moment of this whole little blabber, she can evaluate you. And what you're really seeking is top-notch grades. You want an A+, which means that when she's going to turn around and she's going to take your performance in the female caucus, is that a word? In the female caucus, where she's going to run her mouth so that all her friends can now determine and give you a verdict and a grade. Like you go to the cinema, I don't know, Rotten Potato, and you go fucking there, 16 potatoes. Horrible. You are now going to get graded, and your reputation will spread like wildfire amongst the caucus and other people. Now explain something to me. How the fuck are you a man? If number one, you're a performer. Number two, you accept, because this is the way she has power over you. Her power comes from the fact that you're an idiot. You don't know who you are. Then you come at her and your desire is to perform and beat the competition, which means she's the judge. So if she's the judge in a game of polarity, she's in charge. You are the little barking poodle that is trying to get nice little jump. Oh, that's such a great move. You're like these morons in the Olympics who need to get graded by the judges who then decide if you're competent or not, or if somebody else is competent. Like, from a point of view, I can understand this is an amazing Olympian, how far status and amazing what they can accomplish. But imagine the level of stress they put themselves through. You have to now go, and then some fucking moron is going to determine if you're worthy or not. Now, why would you ever choose to give your power to another person so that they determine your worth? Now, that's exactly what you do with a woman. You've decided to put your manhood in her hands. Well, clearly, if you do that, it's because you don't have your own manhood in your own hands. You need her to kind of hype up yours. So if you perform well, she's going to hype up yours, Right, I got 87, that's not bad. Her average is like 54, so I'm like top grades. I'm a man. Until the next dude comes and gets like 88.5. So clearly, if you were a man, you wouldn't need somebody to evaluate your manhood. And you would never accept to put yourself in a position where somebody else has power over you, which is the very definition of power, which means that we are redefining manhood and your approach to sexuality. No, I know my power. I know who I am. I know what I do. Aha. Are you with me with this one? Yeah. So I learned this the hard way, because once upon a time I was a good little poodle. Or I was going there and I needed to perform and I had my act on, right? I knew what I was good at. I knew what I was like. I don't know if I was not good, but I lacked experience. I knew where I couldn't compete with that person or that kind of prototype, typical person. And then I would like focus my attention and perform. And then when I'd had like an amazing grade, then I kind of like withdraw. I'm like, cool, okay, you know, better retire. Better retire now that I'm on the top than she discovering other spots where your homeboy is a little weak. You know what I mean? It was a performance. And sometimes I'd get awesome grades. In fact, I became great at getting good grades. And then who the fuck am I fooling? Forget that bitch. I don't care. No, it's me. I'm lying to myself. And I've just put my power in the hands of a woman who doesn't deserve to have such a privilege to decide if I'm a man or not. Why are you going to decide if I'm a man? How does that make sense? Right? So, I discovered that there's a whole other sport. There's a whole other game. When you're not looking for her validation, you come into the arena and your mindset is totally different. We've discussed this thoroughly in previous videos. Your mindset is totally different. And I know exactly what I'm doing also. When I touch, I know why I touch. When I touch, I know what it's doing. It's not just that I'm looking to stimulate the clitoris so that I can bring her to a Sorkar orgasm. I enter my fingers a couple of inches in, or is it a little less? And then I find that so-called G-spot and I gently press it and then start to slowly accelerate as I want to bring her to a squirting orgasm. And then I can simultaneously stimulate the clitoris at the same time. And if you're amazing, you can maybe find a way to like, you're such a fucking duck. That's what you are. Everybody understands what I'm saying? Okay, so that's what I said. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I don't know if it's gonna be 100% appropriate, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I had once upon a time a friend. She was a hooker. In and out of that kind of world, right? I don't want to get into the mindset of I want to say a particular story. And at some point, she kind of hooked up with a guy that I knew, who was an older dude. She was maybe, 24, 25, something like this. And he was a seasoned man, maybe 50-something, right? So she, for some odd reason, needed to tell me that they had this whole backstory. The backstory is not the point of the story. And then she said, and then she had to tell me, oh yeah, and he was there, and then like he ate me. And she, stupid talk with stupid girls. It's not the point. And then she, of course, so you see now she's playing. She's trying to affect me. She's trying to also put me against her. I'm not playing into any of this. I don't remember how she said it, and then she said, he was, and this is the words she used, he was very skilled. Which means his technique was on point. This is an old schooler who's been around cunt. It's not a geek, right? And he's skilled, which means he came to eat her pussy and in order to show his performance. And here's what she said after. Yeah, but he doesn't love me. And that's all she said. Oh, it was great. It was very skillful. Threw it away, but he doesn't love me. She was a confused girl. Let's not get into the point. And that's what I'm like, oh. Because she thinks she already got her cunt eaten by somebody who loves her. But something else goes across. And it ain't got nothing to do with skill. Which touches her, moves her, and brings her to a place that no technique can ever do. Now, this is my interpretation of the story. I'm mixing a bunch of things to make a certain point. Now, we're talking about a hoe. This is a professional slut. So people pay her to eat a pussy. Right, Marco? Fantastic. So she's had a lot of people try to get her, try to perform on her so that they can get a good grade. Is it not? And now so she knows what a skilled individual is versus a non-skilled individual is, and she's able to grade. This is a very skilled individual, but essentially what she said, it didn't reach me. That's what she said. So until that mindset is understood by you cats out there who want to be the best lovers in the world, I'm like, yeah, you got to be able to reach her. But what does that mean? Technically, when you go there, you're not even interested. You don't even understand that this is part of the game, unless you're a little deeper lover. Some of you understand this, but you're average, you're a little sucker, you're a jacker, you jack off. That's what you do. You're there to try to perform like she's a porn star, and you're a porn star in a porn movie, trying to bring her to an orgasm like in the porns. This is what you're trying to do because this is what you think pleasure is. I'm like, that ain't pleasure. That's superficial nonsense. In fact, most women you hook up with will never have an orgasm. Most of them can't even have an orgasm. And then some do have an orgasm, but it's a defense mechanism, but you don't even understand that. This is not for you. Just I'm stopping right now.